With us now, Missouri Congressman Jason Smith, chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. Sir, welcome, and thanks so much for coming on. Newsmax, of course, following very closely that press briefing yesterday. If you could just summarize maybe the most standout moments to you about what's being alleged from these IRS whistleblowers.
Absolutely. There's a lot. Thanks for having me. What the two IRS investigators who are whistleblowers highlighted is that clearly in Biden's federal government, all Americans aren't treated equally. If you are wealthy or if you are politically connected to the Biden administration, you just get a slap on the wrist when it comes to other items. These whistleblowers highlighted numerous examples of where the Justice Department had delayed, divulged, or denied the IRS investigators from moving forward on the Biden case. These whistleblowers had worked on the investigation of Hunter Biden's case since 2018. These are people who's been at the IRS for more than 10 years. These are people who care about laws being fairly applied to all Americans. But apparently, this administration doesn't believe the same way.
Going into the investigation there again, or the testimony from the whistleblower, specifically Gary Shapley, 14-year veteran, who one of the ones in the transcript, obviously hundreds of pages, alleging that more charges should have been brought against Hunter Biden, including felony charges, some dating back to 2014. But we just learned about that plea agreement that was made with David Weiss and also Chris Clark, the attorney for Hunter Biden, to only bring, again, a couple of misdemeanors forward on tax charges, and then also that unlawful possession of a handgun, which he received a probation for, likely avoiding any jail time. Does this testimony that the House Ways and Means Committee received, does this do anything, would this affect that case in any way, as, again, it hasn't been brought to a judge just yet?
Well, the facts need to be out there so that the Americans, a judge, everyone sees what we have been told by folks who was part of the investigative team. What's very alarming, you look at the IRS was looking at the tax years from 2014 to 2019, but because of the delay tactics of the Department of Justice, we saw examples where the prosecutor, for example, in Delaware, requested to bring charges in the District of Columbia, was denied, was requested to bring charges in Central California, was denied, requested a special counsel, and was denied. But guess what that led to? That the statute of limitations has ran on any crimes for the charges of tax years 2014 and 2015. And in those years, those IRS whistleblower investigators claimed that Hunter Biden owed more than $300,000 in federal taxes for money that he received from countries like China, Romania, Ukraine. I mean, some of the gifts and payments that Hunter Biden received included an $80,000 diamond, $140,000 plus Porsche. It's absolutely absurd. It's crazy. It's unacceptable. It shows how the wealthy and those politically connected to the Biden administration are treated differently. And then what did he get on it? He got a slap on the wrist when most Americans would have jail time.
Again, these whistleblowers alleging that there was a tie to almost a storage unit in a neighboring state. Talk to me about that and maybe how information was provided ahead of time, ahead of an official search.
Absolutely. That was another example. They were going to bring forth a search warrant for one of Hunter Biden's storage units where he was supposedly storing a lot of information in Northern Virginia. But some of the folks at the Department of Justice let his legal defense team know that they were planning to do that search warrant. In fact, we also had one of the prosecutors tell these IRS whistleblowers that wanted to get a search warrant of a president. It's actually, at that time, it was Vice President Biden's guest house where Hunter was living. And they're like, under no circumstances could that ever happen. You just seen countless times, and it was maddening. But also something that we discovered was a message that Hunter Biden sent to a Chinese business partner on WhatsApp that explicitly stated that he was waiting for that Chinese business partner to respond, and he was sitting next to his father waiting for their response.
Right, that message there that was brought forth. Again, Newsmax hasn't been able to independently verify, again, that message. Either way, though, that was brought forward, again, by the House Ways and Means Committee. Interesting that the release of the transcript was voted along party lines, that there was not one Democrat that wanted this out in the public, and it was only Republicans that wanted it out in the public. Again, you're talking about very serious allegations, not only with the first son, but the DOJ, the FBI. We appreciate that. Before you go, Congressman, if I could ask you, now that the transcript has been released, you've come forward, again, brought this to light for the public to see. Very curious to know what's next within proceduring.
Well, one of the reasons why the Ways and Means Committee had to bring this forward is that based on the fact that these whistleblowers were IRS investigators, they had information to private taxpayer information. And under 6103, only the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee can grant people to look at this information. And that's, in fact, what I did. But then the way for this to become public and transparent is if the Ways and Means Committee voted to make this public. That's, in fact, what we did yesterday, so that other committees in Congress, for example, the Judiciary Committee, ran by Jim Jordan, and the Oversight Committee ran by Jamie Comer, can get the information that we have seen. I felt like this was very, very important that we get this information out there so that this might help with things that they're looking at.
All right, those whistleblower allegations now in the public sphere. Missouri Congressman Jason Smith joining us live with a recap. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you all.